December 2024, deep in the jungles of Colombia, YouTuber Delain Salvaje, known for his extreme encounters with nature, set out to celebrate 1 million subscribers in a shocking way. Instead of a stunt, he chose pain itself, to be stung by a giant stingray, the same creature that took Steve Irwin's life. His camera rolled as he prepared for one of the most dangerous challenges ever filmed.
El animal que terminó con la vida de Steve, el cazador de cocodrilos, es la cosa más extrema que nunca he hecho en toda mi vida. Es una primera también en internet. No hay ninguna picadura de esa raya en YouTube o donde sea. Así que vamos a probar los efectos de una raya. Y para eso venimos al lugar más remoto de la jungla. Acá es donde se encuentran esas rayas enormes, gigantes. Quiero hacerlo bien. He traído mi equipo de profesionales. Es mirando en esas aguas rápidas, ya que son animales que les gusta estar en esas quebradas, al menos las grandes, las enormes, no se quedan en agua. Están ahí esperando en la orilla de esas quebraditas. Vamos a ver en cuánto tiempo encontramos una grande, muchachos.
El camino estaba complicado y no se podía pasar en bote por temporada de sequía, así que decidimos separar el equipo en dos para encontrar una raya.
Ok, primera etapa, conseguir la raya.
Collón y fuimos con los nativos. Y los demás se quedan preparando todo para la filmación.
The video began with Delain standing on a muddy riverbank, his voice steady but tight with nerves. He introduced what he called the craziest challenge of his life: to let a giant stingray sting him on purpose. With a small team beside him, he explained the plan. Find a massive stingray, bring it close, and recreate the accidents locals sometimes suffer by stepping directly onto it. The river was silent, the air heavy, and the camera kept rolling. Hours passed before they finally found one. A stingray larger than anything he'd seen before, its long tail lined with venomous spines. They hauled it carefully into shallow water as the team's medic warned of swelling, paralysis, and a pain said to be worse than a cobra's bite. Delain's heart rate spiked to 120 beats per minute. He hesitated, breathing hard, his instincts begging him to stop. The first attempt failed, the second too. But on the third, the sting connected.
Es que quito solo el pie, es que es instintivo. Es un poco instinto. Mi instinto no me deja. No, es que quiero quitarlo, quiero verlo picar, quiero sentir esa adrenalina. ¡Pícame, pícame!
No, tiene que estar más a este lado. Y estoy dando que consejo como tremendo huevón. Ni bien te agarra, te va a pasar. Ahora.
3, 2, 1.
No vayas al agua, no vayas al agua. El agua está sucia. El agua no, el agua.
¿Cómo duele? ¿Cómo duele, men? Dame. ¿Cómo duele? ¿Cómo duele?
No camines, no más. Espera. Está mal.
Siéntate, bro. Ok, espera. Intento comentar, pero es pulsante, ¿sabes? Duele. Duele. Es como quemadura. Es como quemadura y fractura. Mira que toda la zona está inflamada demasiado. Ni siquiera sé cuánto tiempo me va a durar eso. Quise que me pique la pierna izquierda, me la falló y me chapó el derecho en el tendón.
Pain erupted instantly. Delain screamed as his team pulled him back, his legs swelling and his pulse jumping to 135. The venom burned through his body, leaving him trembling in agony. That night, unable to sleep, he described it as if hundreds of hot needles were digging beneath his skin. On camera, he rated it a 10 out of 10 in pain, the worst moment of his life. Many viewers later shared their own experiences, the same electric shock, the same burning pain. One wrote, "It felt like a live wire under my skin." Others mentioned old remedies, like using termite smoke to draw out the venom. True or not, one thing was clear: the fear of a stingray never really fades. After the video went live, Delain revealed the pain never truly left, a faint pulse still crawling beneath his skin. Some called it bravery, others obsession. But one question lingers in the dark. What if the sting never stopped burning? Hold on a sec. If you're enjoying this so far, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Let's continue. In March 2025, along a remote river deep in far north Queensland, the team from Real Loose Adventures set out on what they called a simple weekend hunt. Their channel, known for wild fishing trips, coastal survival, and off-grid adventures, had taken them to some of the harshest corners of Australia. But this time they aimed higher. An untamed river, a small aluminum boat, and a mission to hunt wild boars. The water was calm, the jungle still, and the air heavy with that uneasy quiet that comes before things go wrong. The video began with a warning montage, flashes of headlights, shouts, and a voice saying they might have to walk 10 kilometers through the dark.
We're stuffed. We're broken down, no food, 10k walk, middle of the night, and no moon. Hopefully torches don't run out.
It was meant to be a quick hunt, but nothing about the river stayed easy. Using a small boat lowered by quad bike, the crew pushed into the narrow channels of North Queensland's wilderness. The first stretch was rough, strong currents, shallow bends, and rocks that scraped the hull. At one point, Jay nearly dropped his rifle into the water. Moments later, the boat slammed against a rapid, almost flipping before regaining balance. Hours later, they found the first signs of success.
Get him, Ash.
Go.
You're right, Yuri.
You missed him.
You're fully loaded there. Oh shit.
First pig of the day. Well, second pig actually, Squiz got one. And then we smoked this one. Prima.
Yeah.
Big Preggers dog, we got a 6-for-1 deal.
The dogs charged through the bushes, cornering a massive boar locals called the Unicorn, one tusk longer than the other. The group took several more pigs as they moved downstream, but progress grew harder. The river narrowed, stones jutting from the surface, forcing them to climb out and push the boat by hand. By late afternoon, their engine struck a rock and died.
I've got the better end of the stick here with the boys over there trying to get the boat up this waterfalls here. We haven't got enough fuel to go back the other way, but we sort of stuffed up very bad today. Like, oh, they're getting it. Oh. 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 Pull it, no!
The silence that followed was heavy. It was 4 p.m., daylight fading fast. Stranded miles from help, they decided to camp overnight. There was no food, no signal, and only dim headlamps left to last the night. Morning came with rain and exhaustion. Using the quad bike, they dragged the broken boat through thick mud and steep tracks, fighting to escape the flooded valley. After hours of struggle, they finally made it out. Viewers praised the video's raw intensity. "That was loose, boys, but what a rush," one wrote. Another joked, "You'd be stuffed if Crocs were in that water." What looked like chaos was real danger. A single wrong turn could have changed everything. They called it an adventure. But as night fell, the forest seemed to close in. Each shadow heavier, each sound sharper. It was as if the place itself had been watching all along. You can't help but wonder, did they find their way out? Or did the forest decide to keep them? We return to Lauren Sarasua, the fearless ocean diver behind one of YouTube's most daring spearfishing channels. On July 31st, 2020, in the Gulf of Mexico, she joined a commercial crew for what appeared to be a calm day at sea. The plan was simple: fish, dive, and capture it all on camera. But beneath the bright, glassy surface of the Gulf, peace never stays for long. When Lauren slipped beneath the surface, the Gulf turned from sunlight to shadow in seconds. The silence was thick, broken only by the crackle of distant bubbles. Then, movement. Slow, heavy shapes gliding through the blue. Bull sharks. Their presence was calm, but unsettling, circling just far enough to remind her she didn't belong here. She steadied her spear, took aim, and fired. The shot landed clean. The fish twisted violently. The sharks reacted instantly, closing in, their outlines growing sharper with every turn. Lauren gripped the line, pulling hard. When she broke the surface, her breath came in short gasps. But the dive wasn't over. Hours later, she descended again near an offshore oil rig. Schools of fish darting between pillars, and a sea turtle drifting by in eerie calm. Just when the peace returned, the same gray silhouettes reappeared from the deep, circling once more. They didn't attack or leave. They just watched, as if waiting for something she couldn't see. Back on deck, Lauren's calm couldn't hide what lingered beneath. The sharks hadn't attacked, but they hadn't left either. Viewers called her fearless, though one warned, never get too complacent. The ocean doesn't offer second chances for long. At sunset, she surfaced with her final catch, the water eerily still. Yet below, the bull sharks kept circling. They spared her once, but when she dives again, will the ocean stay merciful? In early October 2025, along the quiet Gulf Coast of Florida, YouTuber Brant from the channel Angler Up with Brant set out for another fishing adventure. His channel, built around saltwater fishing and coastal life, waves, reels, and patience. This time, he chose a place few would think of fishing, the Pensacola Blue Wahoos Stadium.
I'm trying to stay protected. This is our AA baseball stadium right behind us, Pensacola Blue Wahoos. What's interesting about this AA stadium, which is right there, is it provides some really good fishing opportunity. You can see that water is very clear. There's a lot of mullet, a lot of bait down there. And I have made several successful videos here in the past. And you know, I haven't fished out here in a long time. So we're just gonna see what's happening.
The morning sun shimmered over the docks, and the air felt almost too still, as if waiting for something to disturb its peace. The first day began quietly. Brant cast his line using half of a blue crab as bait to draw fish closer. Hours passed before the water broke. The rod bent sharply, the reel screamed, and a heavy fish burst from the surface. It was a fight every angler dreams of.
There you go, we got him that time, we got him. We got him, we got him. Don't go under the pier, don't go under the pier. Don't go under the pier. Tight quarters. Should have thought this through. Don't go under the pier. Oh man, that was like the quickest catch. Come here. Oh, come here. Got him that time. Check him out, y'all. Oh, marina monster right here. All right.
The next morning, Brant moved to a bridge overlooking the Gulf, this time fishing beside his father. The wind was strong, cars roared past. Father and son worked in rhythm, cast, hook, pull, filling their bucket with fish. But by the end of the trip, that calm would break.
Well, this has taken an unexpected turn. So apparently while I was fishing on the bridge, I felt it happen, but I didn't think much of it. I banged my shin up against that bridge, and a piece, like a rock from the bridge, is buried in my shin, and I can't get it out. It's literally up underneath the skin, and I've got to go to urgent care and get them to pull this thing out. It's unbelievable. This is the second trip to urgent care that I've had within the last year. We were wearing the mullet out, got sidetracked. I'm not sure how this happened, but it happened, and I remember when it happened, but I didn't think much of it, and then it started hurting. I'm like, oh man, I can feel it. I can feel a rock in there underneath the skin. It is the weirdest thing. Here I am, not how I wanted this day to go. We're out. Let me show you what was in. I don't know how, guys, I thought a rock was in my leg. I was wrong. That right there is the top dorsal fin of a mullet. How it got jammed in my leg, I will never know, but it sure did. The whole thing buried.
Hours later, Brant appeared again on camera. His voice was steady, yet edged with disbelief as he explained what had happened. While fishing, He had felt a sudden, sharp pain in his shin, something he thought was just a scrape against the bridge. The pain grew worse until he realized something was embedded deep beneath the skin. At the hospital, doctors discovered the cause: a mullet's dorsal spine, broken clean and buried inside his leg. It had lodged so deep he couldn't even see it, pressing painfully against the bone. What he assumed was a harmless bump had become a wound no one could quite explain. How a small fish could strike with such precision, or why it had gone unnoticed for so long. Even among seasoned anglers, few had ever heard of such a thing. Some claimed it was just a freak accident. Others, however, couldn't shake the feeling that something else was at play, that the calm waters of Pensacola had a way of biting back when disturbed. As Brant healed, the footage from that day still lingered online. Perhaps it was nothing more than bad luck. Or perhaps, in those still coastal waters, something watches from below, waiting for the next cast to come too close. August 2025, a YouTuber named Brenton, better known as Fanatic, began what looked like another harmless outdoor challenge. One night on a small island off the coast of Florida, known locally as Raccoon Island. The plan was simple: survive the night with only $75 worth of camping gear bought from Walmart. It was supposed to be fun: one tent, a few friends, and a camera. But silence on an empty island never means peace. At first, everything seemed fine. They joked, filmed, and called it the perfect spot.
We will not do. I recorded it.
Oh. So the difference right now, Paul's video, he's building a pool pond on the beach. We're actually doing overnight survival on this island, trying to catch sharks off the beach. But there's not a lot of space to catch said shark off the beach. But then again, my mustache is tingling, and when it tingles, it's a good sign. Where are the Zesty Bites? Do we not have Zesty Bites? I messed up. We should not have done budget challenge. We should have done a hammock. Found a pallet in there, drug it out. We're gonna set everything on top of that. This is the coolest island, like, we've ever stayed on.
A tent stood tall against the sand, a small fire flickered beside it, and dinner was nothing more than grilled chicken under a fading sunset. Then came the fishing challenge, a heavy-duty rod with a 100-pound line, baited with a massive tuna head. As they rowed out to drop the bait, two of them were left behind. No water, no tools, no boat. Just the camera and the sound of waves. Hours passed. The island grew darker. They waited, talking to fill the silence, until the reel suddenly screamed.
It should have just dropped in the water.
All right, as you can see, this dip right here in the channel. That dip, see, it drops down to almost 8 feet. That's what we want to see. So what we're going to do now is get our bait. That right there is our bait on the end of this wire, and pretty much just drop it. Boom. Our bait is right there. That's the island. It's quite a ways.
I am going to be honest with you guys. Just like you said, Jamama, this will be one of the longest fights of my entire life. Sturgeon, that was probably, I want to say, #1 right now. Oh, come on! Oh my God! The world record gar was huge, but there was nothing like catching a sturgeon. I am not even joking. Like, that was absurd. This, because there is so much line out there. If we look into a shark, dude, that's a fight. This is going to be intense. Oh my gosh.
Holy.
You can't see anything.
Right.
When we do this, you literally can't see anything.
It looks like we're in the Amazon.
It does look like we're in the Amazon. We've been in the Amazon before.
We're searching the island
For raccoons.
for raccoons.
If we could find one raccoon,
Why
it
is
would
that
be
leaf floating?
okay. One raccoon would be game changer.
Something huge pulled the line tight, shaking the rod with violent force. But just as quickly, it snapped. A second strike came moments later, stronger than before, and again, nothing. Whatever was out there didn't want to be caught. Then the wind began to change. The tide rose. The first drops of rain hit the sand. Within minutes, everything fell apart. The storm slammed into the island.
Oh my God. We're getting hit by a storm. I don't know what size storm it is, but we're getting hit. If we lose our top, that's not good. I'm gonna lay this way to try and pull us back. God, I hope it doesn't start raining. This is bad news. Things aren't going as planned. I did not anticipate the tent collapsing, but the tent has collapsed. If it starts raining, we're done for. We are done for. This is not good. This is not good news. We've been through this before. Jamal and I have been through this pretty bad, actually. I don't know what to do. I'll survive. We're done. The camp's gone. The camp and everything is gone. Oh my God, this has never gone so bad in my life. We have so many hours left, and the rain has been like this for 20 minutes. Our camp is destroyed. The tent is completely full of water. I don't know what to do. Nothing this bad has ever happened. Okay, how is it still raining so hard in the woods? If there's only one thing I can say right now, off the top of my head, it would probably be to go to DestinySnacks.com. It's not any better!
Shredding the tent and flooding the camp. Their fire went out in seconds, and water poured into their gear, drenching cameras and supplies. The footage turns chaotic, shaking lights, heavy rain, voices shouting over the roar of the wind. They tried to call for help, and somehow, one voice answered. Paul. He had already left the island hours earlier, and he didn't even know how to drive a boat. But still, he came back. The last thing the camera shows is a faint light on the horizon, slowly approaching through the storm, before the screen cuts to static. When the video was uploaded, viewers noticed strange things. Paul was posting on Snapchat during the supposed rescue. One comment read, "If he was filming, who was driving?" Another pointed out that their gear looked untouched afterward, as if the storm had never happened. By morning, everything was gone. The tent destroyed, the footage incomplete, and the rescue clip never posted. Whatever happened that night on Raccoon Island, only the storm knows. December 2024. On a frozen lake in northern Minnesota, Naspelt set out alone to film another ice fishing adventure. His channel was built on proving that nature could push him, but never defeat him. Yet that night, the storm had other plans. The forecast promised calm skies, but the wind had already begun to roar across the ice. He built his camp in silence, his breath freezing in midair as he worked. Gusts tore at the tent with more than 90 kilometers per hour of fury, shaking it until the metal rods groaned. Inside, the small heater struggled to stay alive. He looked into the camera and admitted that this might be the worst weather he had ever camped in. Beneath that layer of ice, life still moved, and he was determined to find it.
There we go. Feels like a walleye. Yeah, there we go. That's what I'm talking about. Target species acquired after going through a few smallies and a few rock bass. It's nice to finally catch the target species. All right, buddy, get you right back. Tonight is turning out to be a beautiful night. Sun just went down, snow's starting to pick up a little bit, and the fish are biting. Not much more I can ask for. I'm gonna rig this guy right back up and keep on fishing. That's what I was worried about. That right there. That wind came out of nowhere. I knew it was gonna be a little windy tonight, but that was just terrible. It's snowing pretty good out there right now. All the snow that we had earlier today is getting just blown all the way down the lake. I think it's a real feel of -15 right now. By the morning, it's gonna drop down to -37 degrees Fahrenheit. It's gonna be a cold night, and it is gonna be a windy one. I think it's gonna snow for another 3 or 4 hours tonight, if not a little bit more. So we are definitely in for an adventure tonight. I'm just gonna get relaxed, get everything ready. I just bolted down the tent, so I'm not too worried about the weather.
One by one, he pulled fish from the holes he'd drilled, a massive rock bass, a golden walleye, and finally, a 27-inch giant. The tent rocked violently as the wind screamed outside, the sound inside nearly swallowed by the storm. Later that night, he sat cross-legged by the heater, eating a cold sandwich while snow buried his shelter. The walls pulsed with every gust, as if the storm itself were breathing. He called it beautiful chaos. Most would have called it something else entirely, suicidal.
It's 3 o'clock now. I think this is officially the worst weather I have ever ice camped in. Seems like it's getting worse. I've checked 4 different weather apps I have on my phone. All of them say 26-mile-an-hour gusts. This is definitely a lot more than 26. I think game plan is make it through the night. If I can have any time tomorrow where the wind dies down, I'm packing up and leaving. I'm about half a mile, maybe a little over half a mile from the launch. Walked out. The only person on the lake right now. Wish the weather apps would tell me it was going to be this bad. I saw a little bit of wind. I mean, I always knew it was going to be, 30 miles an hour, which isn't too bad. Like I said, last night was 46-mile-an-hour winds, and it was nothing compared to this. Still worth it for that big walleye. I want to set the camera back. I'm going to hopefully head back to bed here, and I will see you guys in just a little bit.
When midnight came, the blizzard only grew worse. He reinforced the tent, tightening every rope as the ice groaned beneath him. From somewhere under the floor, a deep, muffled thud echoed, a sound too heavy to belong to the wind. Then, silence returned. When the video went online, viewers were stunned. "No video is worth dying for," one wrote. Others praised his calm, his control, his unshakable focus. But everyone knew exactly what this was about, surviving a night on the ice that nearly broke him. He caught one more fish that morning, though the blizzard hadn't fully passed. It felt less like luck and more like a warning. If he had stayed any longer, what would the storm have taken from him? That's all for tonight's video. Which encounter gave you chills? Let us know in the comments below. Got your own experience? We want to hear it. And whatever you do, don't miss what's coming next.